So now it's time for just a little bit of practice thinking about where the decimal should go without having to worry about too much multiplication. So if the question is 5 times 6 1/10, how many digits are to the right of the decimal? Total? 1. So if the answer is 305, should the decimal be here, here, or here? Well, it starts here, but it doinks one place, so the answer should be right there. One place past the decimal. Now we look at the multiplication. We assume this gives us the correct answer. Where should the decimal be? Well, nothing to the right of the decimal here. Over here we have 1, 2 digits to the right of the decimal. Before I do that, how would that get set up? Even though 8 is first, I would need to put 2 and 29 hundredths on top times 8 on the bottom, right like that. Then I say 9 times 8 is 2, carry the 7. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 7 is 23. And 2 times 8 is 16, plus 2 more is 18. So that is how you would set this up to get 1832. You still need to doink the decimal once, twice, because there are 2 places past the decimal here. Woohoo! Got it right. Next problem. Wowza! How would this look set up on paper? I'm not going to do it all. I would still keep the one with 3 digits on top. I would need to put the one with 2 digits on the bottom, and it does not matter where the decimal is, since I am multiplying. Am I adding? No. Am I subtracting? No. Do I line up the decimals? No. Then you would just multiply, put a placeholder, multiply again. The computer tells me it will come out to be 11128. How many places past the decimal? 3. 1, 2, 3. Get doinked. So on the problem, I would need the decimal not here. That's just once. There's twice. There is the third doink of the decimal. Submit my answer. Next problem. How would this look? Well, the one with the most digits is 6 396 thousandths. That would go on top. The 5 would go on bottom. You multiply everything through, and then when you come up with this answer, this is the only time that you worry about the fact that there are 3 digits past the decimal. 1, 2, 3. That is where the decimal should go. One more to do as a model. 4 5/10 times 8. This is exactly how you would set up this problem with the 4 5/10 on top. 8, even though the decimal is here, it doesn't matter. The 8 is a single digit. It goes on the bottom. You multiply everything through. 5 times 8 is 0. Carry the 4. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 4 is 36. And then you see that there is only 1 digit past the decimal. So you put your decimal right here. And that's how you get all 5 of those correct. What about looking at it a little differently? So now we know 7 times 2 is 14. We don't need to worry about doing any multiplication. We know the answer is some sort of a 14, but how many decimals need to go in front of the 14? Well, it was decimal 007 times decimal 02. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gracious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places before I can put the decimal. What can I fill in those empty blanks to show nothing? Just like that. So I need to put in here as my answer, my decimal, 3 zeros, and then the 14. Got it right. Next problem. We know 7 times 6 is 42. But if we have 7/10, yes, 7/10, not 7/100, 7/10 times 6/10, 2 places after the decimal. So my 42, I only need to move the decimal 2 places to make it 42/100. That one is fairly reasonable. Don't need a whole bunch of zeros. Next problem, this will be the last one that we'll do together. 8 times 10 is 80. What about 8/100 times 1/10? Ooh, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? So 8/100 times 1/10. 1, 2, 3 places. So we could even look at this as 8 times 1 is 8. But we'd need to move the decimal once, twice. Didn't leave myself enough space, did I? 3 times. The decimal needs to end up here. What about in these empty doinks? Fill those with placeholders. So I need decimal 008. And I got that one correct. Now your assignment today is going to be hooked up in the Google Classroom. You pull it up right like this, and let's see, let me pull it down a little here so you can see each one. For number 1, 2, 3, and 4, you are going to need to set it up to do the multiplication. So number 1, will you put the 8 on top? Or will you put the 1 and 67/100? Which one has most digits? 1 and 67/100 times 8. Don't line up the decimals. How will you know where to put the decimal? At the end, you will doink the decimal twice from the whole number side of your answer. Number 2, what would that look like set up? Well, again, where are the most digits? Does 7 have more digits? Or does 2 and 711 thousandths? Well, that's kind of obvious. 2 and 711 thousandths has 4 digits. You must multiply that times the 7 on the bottom. Even though 7 is the whole number, you don't line up the decimal. You just multiply it straight across. And then, when you have your answer, move your decimal 3 places. Number 3 and 4, I am going to let you set up. Just be careful because number 4 has 3 digits times 2 digits. So you will need to have 2 rows for your multiplication. And you'll need to add before you can doink the decimal to get the answer. Now, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are similar to what we did at the second time. It shows you the entire multiplication, but then it asks you, where should the decimal be if we change the problem to have decimals in it? So your homework today should look like, you should look at this. You know the answer should have 7, 4, 7, 3, and zeros. You need to decide 1, 2, 3, 4 places past the decimal, which one of these is most likely to have this correct with 4 places past the decimal and the correct digits. So you'll have to think about your amounts. Are you likely to have 747? If you are taking a little piece of 9. So you really do have to think your way through these answers. They are multiple choices. You do not need to do the work for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But you do need to be sure you get the correct answer, thinking through decimal places and what the whole place times the decimals are likely to come out as. This is your lesson and assignment for Wednesday.